We're almost ready to set up the Omnipod 5 app on your iPhone. Before you can use the Omnipod 5 iPhone app, you'll need to sign into the Insulet-provided Controller to confirm that your healthcare provider has prescribed the use of the Omnipod 5 system. Let's go over how to set up the Omnipod 5 iPhone app. First, turn on the provided controller by holding down the controller's power button that's located on the right side of the device. Then, follow the on-screen instructions to log in. Use your Omnipod ID, which is the same username and password you used to log into the onboarding portal or Podder Central. It's a good idea to keep your username and password in a safe place for when you need it in the future. Once you reach the screen that says "Do not proceed," you've done all the steps you need to do on the provided controller. To continue first-time setup, switch to your iPhone. You should now be able to set up the Omnipod 5 app on your iPhone. Next, we'll go over how to set up the app for the first time. After you've logged into the provided controller once, you're able to set up the iPhone app for the first time. You'll need your Omnipod ID for setup. This is the same ID you use to log into the controller. The Omnipod 5 app guides you through setup. Make sure to read each screen and carefully enter your information. The app also guides you through entering your initial pump therapy settings. Different systems work differently, and the settings that you currently have may need to be adjusted. Your healthcare provider will determine your initial settings for Omnipod 5. Do not calculate settings on your own. You'll need those settings as you'll enter them when you go through the next steps. Let's go through an example together. Keep in mind that the screens and settings are for educational purposes only. Consult your healthcare professional for personalized recommendations. The first step in setting up your iPhone app is entering your Basal settings and your Basal program. To do so, tap Next. To set a max basal rate only for use in manual mode, tap the max basal rate field. Let's pretend the max basal rate you want to enter is 3 units per hour. Select 3 units per hour and tap Done. Then tap Next. Now you can create your basal program. You can set up 1 or more segments. Tap Next. To set the name, tap the program name field and enter the new name. For this example, we'll name the program Basal 1. After entering the program name, tap Next. You've named your first program. Let's set up segments within that program. You can create up to 24 segments within your Basal program. A Basal program covers the entire 24 hours of a day and always starts at midnight. The start time for the first segment defaults to 12 a.m. To set the end time for a segment, tap the End Time field. Let's say we want this segment to end at 5 a.m. Scroll to the desired time, then tap Done. Now we need to enter a basal rate for that segment. Tap on the basal rate field. Let's say we want to use 0.75 units per hour. Tap Done. We've now defined the first segment. Tap Next. We can now create the remaining segments until we've created enough segments to cover a program's 24-hour period. Let's imagine we've entered the remaining segments. After we've entered all the segments, we'll carefully review and confirm the settings. We can edit segments if needed by tapping on a segment. In our example, the settings have been entered correctly, so we can proceed. Tap Save. The last basal setting asks us to select if we want the temp basal feature available in manual mode. In our example, we'll turn it on. The next step is to set up your Bolus settings. Bolus settings are used by the Smart Bolus calculator to suggest mealtime and correction insulin doses. With all AID systems, it's important to still bolus for meals and high glucose levels. Tap Next. Let's set the start and end time of the first segment. Tap the target glucose field. You can select from 5 different targets that range from 110 to 150 mg per deciliter in 10 mg increments. You can set different target glucose values for different segments. Smart Adjust technology, the algorithm, will adjust insulin delivery in automated mode using your selected target glucose. In our example, let's say the target glucose value is 110. Select 110, then tap Done. Next, we have to enter a value for correct above. The Smart Bolus calculator will only calculate a correction bolus if your glucose is above your correct above setting. Tap the Correct Above field. Let's say we want to correct above 120. Select 120 milligrams per deciliter and then tap Done. Now you can review the information we've just entered. In our example, let's say that everything looks correct, so tap Next. Repeat the steps as needed until you have specified values for the segments that ends at midnight. Now you can review the segments and tap Save if they are correct. As part of the bolus setting setup, you'll also enter your insulin to carb ratio, your correction factor, the duration of insulin action, and if you want to allow extending a bolus. We've now gone over how to enter your personalized initial pump therapy settings from your healthcare provider.